Today we're diving into Honoré de Balzac's classic, The Lily of the Valley. And we're going to get to the bottom of a really intense question. How can a lifetime of feeling completely unloved lead to a first love that's, well, almost dangerously explosive?
Okay, so it all kicks off with this wow, the shocking moment. Picture this, a fancy, high society ball. Our main guy, a super shy young man named Felix, is feeling totally overwhelmed, completely invisible. And then he does something, it's just unbelievably impulsive. He runs up to a complete stranger, a beautiful woman, and just kisses her bare shoulders, again and again.
Right? What on earth would make someone do that? It sounds completely out of control. But, to really get why this happened, to understand this one wild, frantic moment, we have to rewind. We've got to go way back and take a hard look at the absolute emotional wasteland that was his childhood. So, let's talk about Felix's childhood. It was just this silent, never-ending lesson in what it feels like to be completely and utterly unwanted. We're not just talking about an unhappy kid here. This was a systematic, day-in, day-out starvation of affection.
And Balzac's writing here, it's just devastating. He paints this picture of Felix as a burden from the moment he's born. You know that natural joy a kid has? For Felix, it's met with just icy coldness. And so he starts to believe it himself, this deep-down feeling that he was a mistake, just an obligation his own mother couldn't stand.
And just look at the contrast with his brother Charles. It really lays out the harsh reality of his home life. While Felix is basically ignored, sent away, Charles is the golden child. He's the king of the house, the center of their universe. This isn't your normal sibling rivalry, not even close. For Felix, it was a daily, painful reminder that, in his own family's eyes, he was worthless.
So you can see how this foundation of misery it shaped his entire personality. That coldness from his mother, the constant cruelty, being punished for things he didn't even do. It all builds up into this profound sense that he's an outcast. And what does that do? It leaves him with this massive, aching void, a desperate need to love someone and to finally be loved back.
And it didn't get any better when he went to school. His school years were basically just Act 2 of his home life. Every single stage, he's just isolated and deprived. Think about it, getting humiliated for the simple lunch his family packed him, or later being stuck at a boarding school for 8 years. 8 years! With no money and no family visits. The message he got, loud and clear, was always the same. You just don't matter.
And this quote right here, this is really the peak of that cruelty. His mother finds out he's got a small debt with the school's concierge. And for what? Coffee, snacks, just simple little things his classmates all had. But does she see a lonely kid trying to feel normal? Nope. She sees a monster. She literally accuses him of trying to ruin the family. And for Felix, that's it. That's the moment that confirms his absolute worst fear, that he is, at his core, completely unlovable.
Okay, so with all that in mind, let's go back to the ball. Now we get it, right? We see the massive emotional void that Felix is carrying around with him. He's basically a walking powder keg of repressed emotions, just waiting for a spark to set him off. And that woman at the ball, she's the spark. That wild, desperate kiss, it wasn't just about passion. For Felix, this was the first moment in his entire life that he felt truly alive. It's like his whole world had been this gray, dormant thing, and suddenly, bam, it just exploded into color.
You have to understand, he doesn't just see a pretty woman. To him, she is the living, breathing embodiment of every dream, every fantasy, every single drop of affection he has ever wanted. In an instant, she becomes the answer to his entire life of pain. She's not a person. She's a divine being sent from the heavens to rescue him.
In modern psychological terms, what we're seeing here is a textbook case of imprinting. You have a soul that's been completely starved of love, and it finally finds the first suitable object to latch onto. All that pent-up need, all that emotion, just channels right into her. This is way beyond a simple crush. She becomes his entire reason for living. So, now he's totally consumed by this. His life isn't aimless anymore. Not at all. It suddenly has one single purpose. It's like a holy quest. He has to find this woman again.
And funny enough, his family actually helps him out, by accident. They see him moping around, and they think he's sick, physically sick, so they send him to the countryside to get better.
This, of course, is the best thing that could have happened. It sets him on his quest, and it's like he has this powerful inner compass, this instinct that just starts pulling him toward the one place in the world where a woman like her must live.
And the place he finds, wow, it's a paradise. Balzac describes this valley not just as a pretty spot, but as a living, breathing thing. It's this perfect, almost divine landscape, and it's the only place that would be worthy of the perfect, divine woman he's looking for.
And then he sees it. Just a tiny white dot on a faraway hill. And he just knows. Instantly. That's her. It's her dress. His quest is over. He's found his destination. And his paradise finally has a name. Clochegord. All right, so with his host, Felix is finally walking up to the chateau. He is literally about to meet the reality behind his dream. And you have to wonder, right? Can anything in the real world ever live up to a fantasy that powerful?
Because in his mind, she isn't even human. She's the perfect flower blooming in this perfect garden. She's a being of pure, untouchable goodness. He's even given her a name that fits this image, the Lily of the Valley. But the second he steps inside, his ideal world just smashes head-on into reality. The divine vision? Well, she's a real woman. Her name is Madame de Mortsauf, and she's married to this grim, much older count. She's the mother of 2 very frail, sickly children. All of a sudden, his perfect, simple fantasy gets incredibly complicated. Now there's duty and marriage and a whole lot of sadness involved.
So you can imagine his emotional state is just completely off the charts. He is 100% in awe of just being near her, but he's also terrified of her husband, of the whole situation. And yet his hope, it's even bigger than all of that. It's so powerful, it's almost supernatural. In his mind, he's found her. And for now, that's the only thing that matters.
And then comes the critical moment. Their eyes meet, and she recognizes him. She knows he's the young man from the ball, the one who did that crazy intimate thing. And they both blush. In that one shared moment of awkwardness, this secret unspoken connection is forged between them. And he gets invited to stay for dinner.
So there it is. Felix has found her. He's found the object of his total, all-consuming devotion, the new sun in his universe. But he's also stumbled into a reality that is way more complicated than his fantasy. He's found his paradise for sure. But the real question, the one that hangs over everything now, is this. What happens when the perfect, idealized love you've built up in your head has to actually exist in a very, very imperfect world? And maybe more importantly, is a love that's born from that much desperation just doomed from the start?